Okay, welcome back to Yukin and Cooking, and we made our we're making chicken soup. And in the last video, we made the stock. So I'm going to show you the stock here, and we're going to assemble all the parts and put it in the pan, and we're going to finish up our chicken soup. Okay, here's our stock, and you can see everything is cooked down. So we're just going to toss all of that stuff. We're going to strain it. And we got all our veggies here, so let's go ahead and I won't show you that, that's no big deal. We're going to strain it, and when we do that, since it's cold, I left it overnight in the refrigerator. I cooked it for about, maybe 2 hours. You don't really need any longer than that. You're not going to get a whole lot more flavor out of this stuff. This stuff is like dead. So anyway, we're going to strain it, and when we do that, when it's cold, you're going to get a lot of the fat out of there too, if there is any from the chicken bones. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we got some of our ingredients here. Let's just do, I'm just going to show you like one garlic, but all this garlic's going to go in there. I'll just crush it, cut off the top there, and you know, you've seen a lot of these on TV. You can use a garlic crusher or whatever you think turns you on. So I won't do all the garlic here in front of the camera, but you get the basic idea. I'll set that aside. So all that garlic, I got about 4 cloves of garlic. So I've got my other onion board right here. And we're going to do the onion. So using the red onion, I'm going to use what I've got left over from other projects. So let's just go ahead and, you know, don't be too fussy about how this is cut up. You can leave it in pretty big chunks, you know, because it's going to all cook down in the soup anyway. So you actually don't want to cut it too small. So, and I just sharpened these knives, so they're kind of dangerous. I got to be really careful. I've actually never sharpened them, so this is a first. Okay, and then we've got leek. So I'm not going to do all this prep in front of the camera. It's all basically pretty simple stuff. The leek, and then the cauliflower should be cut, you know, again in kind of big chunks. So I'm going to cut that all up, and then I'm going to transfer it over to the stove. The broccoli, same thing. Carrots. Just going to cut off the top and bottom, and then cut those as you might assume, just in little rounds. And I can't let it drop on the floor because I've got pet rabbits in here and they'll snatch it and run all over the kitchen. Okay. Alright, that's the carrots. And then the potato, I showed you this in another video, but here's how I do the potato. Again, keep it pretty simple. Just setting that there for a moment because I've got to do the rest of the veggies, but I don't want to bore you in front of the camera, so cut off a little bad spot here on the. So what I do is I cut a little piece off the bottom there. I may or may not use that. And then again, they don't have to be very small. I'm just going to cut it like this. See, when I cut off the bottom, I got a nice little surface there. So I'm going to put about 2 potatoes in there. So I've got about two carrots, a bunch and a half of broccoli, maybe a half of head of cauliflower here that I'm using, probably a half a leek, and then the brown rice. I've got about 2/3 of a cup of brown rice. Be careful with the brown rice. If you make a smaller pot than what I'm going to make, then it expands like crazy. So if you put a full cup in there, you'll just have basically a great big pot of chicken flavored rice, so be careful of the brown rice. Okay, let's go over to the stove and get it in the pan. Okay, we've got our great big cast iron pan here. About 10-15 years ago I started buying these at the Salvation Army stores, or you know, at the Goodwill stores, and you know, you could get a pan like this for $20-25, and I might have bought this at a garage sale for about the same price, but now A, you can't get them, and B, they're, you know, the new ones are just kind of funky. This is a, let me grab it. I've had this on for a while, so it's really hot. This is a, just made in USA. It's SKT or whatever, but I've got some Griswold and some other ones, but this is a really good one, and it seems like the surface is just much nicer on the old pans. But anyway, let's get going here. So I'm using extra virgin olive oil, and I keep my oil in something I can just get really hot. I'll turn it down a little bit, but make sure your pan is hot. I'm going to put the now the order of putting this stuff in here is pretty important. Put the potatoes in first so they can sort of brown. They take the longest time to cook along with the carrots. So let them cook down. What you want to do is you want that. I believe the proper term is caramelized. So you want. This is my favorite old pancake turner. I mean, this thing is, I don't know, it's probably $4 somewhere. So, and this is all the chicken I've got. This is all that was left on that, in the beginning of the video I showed you the rosy chicken that we bought. It's a roasted, you know, get the plain one, don't get the one with the barbecue. But it doesn't really matter, it all washes off anyway. But so I get the plain just salted rosy chicken, and we had like 4 or 5 meals from it. And this is, you know, we had enchiladas, we had a stir fry with brown rice, with veggies, again the same veggies I'm using here. So you know, one chicken can make a big meal if you just don't eat it like a big piece of meat. Still got a hot pan. I'm going to throw the chicken in there. And let that brown a little bit more oil. And if you cook it on one side, that's all you need. So put it in the pan and then leave it alone, just like I did with the carrots and potatoes. And just let it sort of brown on one side, and that's going to cook for about a minute. Okay, that's good. I don't want to, not actually cooking anything here. I'm just obviously just browning everything. So garlic, and let that. See if you don't have your spatter shield there, which I can't just leave it on because of the video. So normally I have a spatter shield in this hand, and I hold it like a guard, and let that garlic cook for just 20, 30 seconds. You see that meat? That's how you want it. You're not trying to cook it because it's already cooked, A, and B, you're just trying to brown it for flavor. That's what we're doing here. Now I'm going to add everything else. Probably the onions go first. They need a little bit of browning. Onions and leeks. Okay, that's about right. Put that aside. And then everything else goes in. And this actually won't brown because the pan just isn't big enough, and I'm not going to take everything out. But what I want to do is get everything in this pan. Now I'm going to let that cook for just a couple of minutes. And while that's cooking, I'll play my tune ukulele, just a couple of chords here. But don't put the ukulele in the pan because it's just, you ruin it, you know. Okay, that's good. What got brown was the meat and some of the other stuff. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, oh, I forgot salt. Got to salt it, but not too much because you've got salt in the broth. So here's my broth. I'm just going to pour that in here to make sure. So what that does is two things. It starts the cooking process for the soup, and also it sort of deglazes this pan, doesn't it? So it's a very, very clever thing I've done. And okay, under normal conditions I might bring this to a boil. It doesn't really matter as long as I deglaze that pan. And this is essentially the soup. And so that's going to cook. Excuse me. I'm going to transfer it back in the soup pot. And I won't do that in front of the camera because I might be a disaster. But I'll show that to you when I get it back in the pot. Okay, here's the soup. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to let that simmer. Now, you know what? If you wanted to make tortilla soup, what I would normally do is I would put a little chili powder. In fact, I guess I'll do that next time. I put a little chili powder in with when I'm frying up the meat. Not too much, just a little for flavor. And then you make fresh tortilla chips. You just take tortillas, you cut them in sixes. Fry them up so they're almost crispy, and then if you add tortilla chips in with that slightly chili powder seasoned soup broth, you'll get a tortilla soup, and it's really excellent. What the tortillas add is that corn flavor, and so they're not benign at all. They have a really nice flavor along with the chili powder. So there's our soup, and I'm not going to add the, when that boils, excuse me, after it's cooked and simmered for, well, about an hour, I'll put the rice in, let that cook about another 40 minutes, and then it'll be done, and I'll show you the finished product at that time. Oh, I'm going to add these back. See, there's always something, isn't there? So before you're done with the soup, look at that. I left all that out, I didn't even know it. Before you're finished with the soup, you put the lid on and move it back and simmer it. Look around, make sure you got everything in the soup. And no, that doesn't go in the soup. That goes in, okay, got that. This does, no, that doesn't go in the soup. Okay, I got everything. Check all my pans here, see they're clean. I mean, they're empty. Okay. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back in a couple hours with the finished product. So the soup is just about to boil, and what I did was I added I went ahead and added the rice, because what happens with soup is you don't want to cook it all day, because what'll happen, everything will break down, it'll be just mush. So really the best day for the soup is day one, I think, because it has a certain freshness and things still taste like they're individual rather than just just mushy. So I put the rice in there. I put about a half a cup. I didn't put as much as I thought I would. And I've got this pot is about 2/3 full. So that's going to come to a boil. I'm going to slide it back there. I'm going to cook it for about a half an hour, maybe 20 minutes or half an hour. I'm just going to turn it off because when you eat it, you heat it back up, and so it's going to recook several times. Because this is a lot of soup, even though there are 4 of us. This is enough soup for. I'm not even sure we'll eat it all. We might give some to the neighbors. So anyway, there it is. It's boiling. I'm going to put it on the back burner and let it simmer for, like I said, about 20 minutes, and then it'll be done.